This is take 3 with JFB, where I pose random questions to John Barnes, the founder of Myofascial Release, and give him 3 minutes or less to answer. John, if I ask you to share a memory from when you were 33 years old, what is the first thing that pops into your head?
That was a transitional period in my life. I had a horrible accident when I was a teenager, with weightlifting accident. Had herniated disc at L5. I was in so much pain I eventually had spinal surgery around 30. And I had become very concerned about what physical therapy could do for people. So that's when I made the shift. And first of all, I started to use myofascial release on myself after the surgery, because they still hurt a lot and I still couldn't move well. It did help, but not much. So I've told the story before, I won't bother going into it now, but unless that's another one of the questions. But I would lay on the living room floor and I would treat myself on the floor. And I would push into the areas that hurt or felt kind of hard. I was still very strong, so I would bull my way into them. And then my intuitive voice would kick in and say, lighten up. Lighten up some more. And slow down, that type of thing. So I started to do myofascial release, and what I learned from myself and my patients, I had a very large practice then with maybe 7 or 8 therapists working with me. Huge clientele. And the problem was, now I started myofascial release, everyone to see me. So I realized that I'd have to teach my therapists how to do this. And I'm thinking back then, geez, I have to waste a whole weekend. So I told my staff that I was going to do a myofascial release seminar, and they said, "You're crazy? Nobody knows what the hell that is, you know." Anytime you want to be successful, by the way, make sure everybody's going to resist you. So I said, so I called a local physical therapy newspaper. It was actually a national one. And said, "You want an interesting story?" So they sent a reporter over, and we talked about what we were doing and everything, you know. I put an ad in for the seminar. So I was, you'll be lucky to get 3 people. So after the ad ran, I came in that following, after the weekend. The phone was ringing off the hook. We got over 200 people to sign up. We didn't have a room big enough, so we had to break it into 2 different seminars on different weekends, 100 each. At that point, I had been lecturing at the Osteopathic College, but I'd maybe talking to 15 or 20 people at the most. I'd never talked to a crowd that large. So I made some preliminary notes, and as I got up there, I froze. I think God came along, and the waiter came through a swinging door and slammed it against the wall. Everybody looked over there. I looked down at my notes. I was really ticked at myself. And I just took off, because my intuition said, just do it, enjoy it, you know. People were saying, "My God, that was great. How many years have you been doing that?" I told my staff, "Don't tell them this is my first time." You know? And then somebody wasn't wise enough to put numbers on the slides. Somebody hit the slides, spilled them all over the floor. I spent the whole night trying to reorganize the things. So there's a lot of interesting stories along those lines, too. Okay.